Okay, Xochitl in Mexico City, Mexico. Matthew here in Durham, North Carolina with freeprescriptionlenses.com. And with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your new Ralph Lauren Polo frame. Let me take everything out of the original box that it comes in. Your Ralph Lauren Polo case, Polo cleaning cloth, and some junk mail because you just don't get enough in your mailbox as it is. So they have to put all this in your eyeglass case expecting you to read this, but hey, they sent it to me, so I'm sending it to you. But this is your frame. They always have a little plastic sleeve on the temple to prevent the temples from rubbing together during shipping, and I will include that along with all the manufacturer's original packaging, including the lenses that say Polo Ralph Lauren on the lens. This is, again, Polo model number 2070, the 54 eye size, color 5003. Is the classic tortoise frame with a streak of platinum in the top, which is really nice. At least I like it, and I hope you do too. But let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to take out your original demo lenses. I'm going to place your frame into the tracing element of my edger, and we're going to hit trace, which is 3 in your language, but a shape in mine. Everyone wants to know how the machine know what shape lens to cut. Well, this is it. A little stylus comes up and goes around and traces the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Ralph Lauren Polo frame and you receive free clear prescription lenses, and that's what you're getting. The frame costs $150, and that is all you're paying for, apart from international shipping, that is. So I'm going to go ahead and type in your pupillary distance as soon as the frame shape comes up. You are 30.5 in your left eye. My computer starts at 32.5 always, so we will go to 30.5. For the left, you are 31. Let's bring that down to 31 and switch that over back to right. And let's go ahead and get your lenses prepped. Your right lens reads -375, -150 at 82, -375, 150 at 82. I'm going to put the axis wheel on 82. Hopefully you can see that in there. Take your lens out of the protective sleeve. Let me make sure the the lensometer is lined up correctly. It is. I'm going to turn the power to -3.75, and I'll show you that in better detail later. Rotate your lens until the sphere power comes in clearly. Locate the optical center. Check that against your astigmatism correction, which I'll explain later too. I'm going to do everything later. Do I have to do it all right now? And this is your right lens, so I'm just going to mark this R for right. And I put 3 dots on there, and I'm going to darken those so you can follow this at home. What that does is that tells me how to orient the lens just right, because the lens can only go in there one way with your astigmatism correction. Did I mention I was going to explain that later on? God, you want me to do everything now. Okay, so your left lens, -3 1/4, -1 at 105, -3 1/4, -1 at 105, not 115, 105, and you will find that between 100 and 110. So let's turn the power drum to -3.25. Put your lens in, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction, also known as the cross curve. Put 3 red dots on your lenses. Darken those 3 red dots. 1, 2, and tres. Uno, dos, tres. I can go that far. Please don't ask me to count any higher. Or you can ask me. I ain't gonna do it. Un, deux, trois. How's that? 4 years of French in high school. What a waste that ended up being. Sorry. Pardon. Excusez-moi. Anyone who thinks I'm putting French down, but I just don't find it as useful as Spanish in this day and age. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? Your lenses. Okay, pay attention, Mathieu. I'm going to go ahead and block your lenses. When I say block, this is a block, or as I like to say, Jenny from the block. This is what's going to attach to your lens and hold it in place while it is cutting. So I need to apply a double-sided adhesive sticker to that, of which I have already done. I'm going to pull the paper away to expose the second side of the sticky pad. And there's a little silver button on the back. That is a magnet. It does 2 things. It holds it in place in this arm and then inside the edger. So I've already got your pupillary distance of 30.5 typed in there. So again, the reason why I put those red dots on there is that your lens has to go in there just perfectly. It cannot be rotated. And this dot in the center is your optical center. That's going to sit directly over your pupil. Now, let me see if I can dark these a little better for you. Where's a good pen? Where's a good pen? Believe it or not, this is a white pen. Well, you can believe that. But when I put it in here, they look very black, and now you can finally see them. Let me do the same thing for the left lens. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Ah, you didn't think I had it in me, did you? Yeah, see? I'm always pulling out surprises. So, this blue cross is the geometric center of the lens. This is exactly halfway this way and halfway this way. Your pupil is just inward of that cross and this little yellowish-orange cross. So, I'm going to put that dot there. These two dots go across and get everything lined up perfectly. Hit this button, an arm comes down and places the block onto the lens. Pull away the paper to expose the second pad, and we're going to do the same thing for the left lens. Get that lined up in there perfectly. Again, the pupillary distance is 31. I programmed that in there just a little while ago. Remember, we covered this. You didn't know you were going to be tested on this, did you? And hit the button again, the arm comes down, the block gets applied to the left lens. So the actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right of the machine. That's what's going to grind away your lens material until it reaches, actually let me put that down there. That's going to grind away your lens material until it's the final shape. Now this wheel here with that little groove, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens, which is the V shape, the knife-like bevel, so it will stay inside the bevel of the frame. And let's just see it in action. So I'm going to take the right lens. Again, the magnet, the second fold, it puts it into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. By the way, the machine costs $40,000. I recommend everyone go out and buy one. It weighs 200 pounds. Put it on your kitchen counter, and then you can cut your own glasses at home. You won't need me anymore once I demonstrate how all this works. But I'm going to hit that button there. That's the little tracer. That's what that is called. It's going to pull up the shape of your lens. I am not going to polish the edges. I am not going to put a bevel on the front of the lens, but I am going to have one on the back. These are polycarbonate lenses. If it was plastic here, mid-index, Trivex, I could change what it is, but we're going to keep it on, oops, I hit plastic. We're going to keep it on polycarb, the little PC there. That is not politically correct. That is for polycarb. And we're going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, that clamp shuts, and then two white calipers up at the top are going to come down, and it's going to trace the shape of your right lens to make sure this lens is large enough to fit into your frame. As it goes around, it is measuring that. It actually goes around twice to measure the thickness of the lens at every point to make sure that where to place the bevel in the frame. At every thickness point, it knows whether to move the lens forward or backward in order to put it into the frame where it fits best. Now, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. It is bulletproof up to 22 caliber and has both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied, this is permanent and will never need to be reapplied. Now your lenses, as I mentioned, the polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than plastic. Your lenses are also aspheric. Aspheric simply means not spherical. A sphere, like an orb, is completely round in every direction. Sometimes when you look at people's lenses, it's so round it gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. So your lenses are thinner, but the actual front curvature of the lens is much flatter. That gives you a wider field of view, plus a much better finished cosmetic quality. When you buy glasses from someone online, they charge you for plastic lenses. If you want to upgrade to the thinner, lighter weight lenses, they charge you an upgrade fee for that. And if you want to purchase the aspheric lenses, they charge you an additional fee for that. So this is someone else's top tier premium lens that you pay a fortune for, and you get those free, you get those gratis prescrizioni lentes with uno anno garantia on gafas y lentes. But all right, I'll stop right there. I don't want to embarrass myself. Worse than I already have so far. But you're going to get that for free just for buying the frames from me. Oops, dropping everything. By the way, if they weren't bulletproof, could I do that? See, that's living proof right there. My finger is strong as bullets. Bullets, I tell you. So that is your lens. If you notice, it's still completely flat all the way around, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out now, I could stand it up on the counter and it would stand up on its own. In just a moment, it's going to move over and then drop down onto, actually it's measuring again the thickness at every point a second time to know exactly where to place the bevel. So it's now going to drop down onto the middle wheel, and it's going to get a V-shaped bevel, a knife-like edge. A very dull knife like me, but a knife-like edge nonetheless. This knife is so dull that it can cut through a piece of wet tissue. Now, providing you will have to soak that tissue in a bucket of water overnight. A tissue such as this one. Soak in a bucket of water overnight, take your lens and then press down very hard, rub back and forth, and you might be able to cut through it. That's how sharp the lens is. Now if you notice, there is no water running. Of course, you wouldn't realize that. There's no lightning flashing, there's no band playing. But there we go, right on cue. Water begins spraying for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle just to wash away any optical debris. Now I am putting a polish on your lenses. The polish is being applied now just because I'm concerned about the edge thickness. I'm going to make sure you have the highest cosmetic quality possible. Yeah, water kicks in for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle just to wash away any optical debris. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry where plastic and high index lenses cut wet. Now in just a moment, an arm with a lever on it and with a little cutting wheel that looks like should be on a Dremel tool. That's what's going to put the safety bevel on the back surface of the lens. Where's one of your demo lenses? What'd I do with it? Here it is. The lens is the final shape, but it's just going to smooth out any rough edges that may be on the back surface of the lens that if it was to protrude outside the frame could come in contact with the face, so I'm going to smooth that off. Now in just a moment the door is going to open and I will take your lens out and we'll see if it will mount first time around. I do want to grab a paper towel and dry your lens off so it is not slippery. And we'll see if it mounts into the frame first time around. I just want to make sure all the optical debris is missing from the frame. So I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner closest to me, push down with my thumbs, and it's still a little bit large, so I'm going to take it down a little bit more, put it back in, and I'm going to take it down just due to the thickness about 1/4 of a millimeter, and I'm going to hit the retouch cycle. Now this time it's just going to go back onto either the bevel wheel or the polishing wheel, possibly both. Now everyone in America has no clue what 1/4 of a millimeter is. So a millimeter is the distance between my thumbnails. I'm going to take 1/4 of that distance off, going around the circumference of your lens until it snaps into your frame easily. The golden rule, if it's cutting wood or cutting lenses, you can always cut more off, you can never add it back on. So I have the machine start a little bit large and then I work my way down. Now the safety bevel again is going to be applied to the back surface of the lens. Does this every time as part of the cutting cycle. This is just a follow-up procedure anytime the lens is resized. So that is done. We will open this door up, hit that button, take the lens out, dry it off again, and we'll see if it fits in this time. Gonna tuck it in at the outside corner, then using my thumbs, press down the nose, it snaps in perfectly. And let's go ahead and do the same thing for the left lens. We're gonna flip that over to L, and actually we're gonna polish that and put the lens into the chuck. Thank you, Chuck. And hit start. Now this time it's going to come and it's going to trace the shape of the left side of the frame. As the styluses, those two styluses go around, it is tracing the shape. Of course the outer edge is a little bit thicker, that distance there, than it is here, and of course it's very thin at the top. And again, just to repeat myself, the reason why it does it twice, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point, it knows exactly where to place the bevel, so you end up with the best cosmetic value where you had hardly any edge thickness whatsoever, and of course nothing protruding from the front of the frame. So this block is no longer needed. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Dry the lens off, leaving those dots on there. Now I'm going to inspect the lens. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 82, which is the axis for the right eye, and put the lens in just above that dot, which is the optical center, which is the thinnest part of the lens, which is going to sit directly in front of your pupil. I check and I am getting minus 375. Check your astigmatism correction, and we're getting a combined value of 5 1/4. Hopefully you can see that. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It starts at 0, which we in the business call Plano, which is not just another city in Texas, but everyone else in the world calls it non-prescription. If it starts at 0 and goes up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, so on. So you're at 375. So you need 15 steps of correction for your farsightedness. Without your glasses, you are nearsighted. Without your glasses on, you can see everything near, but once it gets beyond arm's reach, it starts to get blurry. So you need 15 steps of correction for that. You need an additional 6 steps for your astigmatism correction. Now there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. Astigmatism just means shape. It's like toric as well for contact lenses. You have 2 curvatures on your eye. One curve going this way, which is minus 375, and a second curve going this way, which is in another 6 steps, which is minus 150. Now, again, it's a shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. It comes and goes, it fluctuates. But this first number makes everything the right size. Without your glasses on, everything is much larger in life than it really is. So this first number shrinks down to the correct size that any object should be. The astigmatism is what makes things blurry. That's why 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. That is what causes you to squint, is your astigmatism. Think of it as the fine-tuned knob, and if we were going to turn that knob, a straight line is from 0 to 180 with 90 being in the middle. We're going to turn that fine-tuned knob to almost to 90. We're going to turn it to 82. Now for your left eye, you only need 13 steps of correction for your farsightedness, and you only need 4 steps of correction for your astigmatism. So your combined total powers are 4 1/4. But we're going to turn that knob past 90 to 105. Now these first 2 numbers are real values that we should be concerned with. This last number could be your axis as it is. It can be anywhere from 0 to 180. So, but using the reason why I end up with minus 5 1/4 for your total power of your right eye is, remember high school algebra, you add 2 like signs together, but we're going to do this in today's terms. If someone had borrowed $3.75 or 3.75 pesos, then they borrowed another 1.5 pesos, they would owe you 5 pesos. And what's the quarter increments? I have no idea. I'll shut up now. So if you're right eye, we're going to end up with a combined power of -4 1/4. If someone had borrowed $3.25 and then borrowed another $1, they would owe you $4.25, and that's what we'll check in a moment. But let's go ahead and get your left lens mounted. We're going to take it out of the chuck, dry everything off, and then starting with the outside corner, tuck that in there, and then push down at the nose. It snaps in perfectly. I'm going to take this block off. It always takes a little longer for the right lens, but once you get that size right, just flip it over and cut the left. So we're going to put the left lens in. We're going to turn the axis to 105, put it in just above that white dot, and when I check, we have -3 1/4. I'm going to turn the knob, and with the astigmatism correction, we're at -4 1/4, so that is made perfectly. Your pupillary distance is 30.5 for your right eye, 31 for your left, so a total of 61.5. I'm going to turn the card around, and when I put my thumb on the right lens at 0 and I measure at the left lens, we have 61.5, so that is made correctly. Now the other thing I like to do at this time, I'm using my last tissue. Xochitl, I'm going to have to charge you more because now I have to go out and get another box of Kleenex or tissue. Angel Soft, I guess it's not tissue. Your lenses are being cleaned with Angel Soft, but enough of this gibberish. This is the point that I like to say, that when I mailed these to you, and it's free shipping anywhere in the United States. Unfortunately, you do have to pay for international shipping to get these to Mexico City, which by the way is the 9th largest city in the world. It is the largest city in North America, and it has just bumped Shanghai in China up to the number 10, where it stays in the top 10 populated cities in the world. And that concludes our geography lesson for the day. Tomorrow, check back and we're going to cover major exports and what today's economic values mean to tomorrow's educational needs for kids. No, seriously. Okay, so when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these will be too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And because of that, 99% of all the optical shops in America will do free adjustments. I'm not sure what it's like in Mexico, but we'll need to look into that. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. Those 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I am part of that 80%. When I take mine off and I press down, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. Let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. Alright, now I flip it over, press down, there is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap on top of each other perfectly, and they do, and they're not askew or anything like that. I check the tension on each spring hinge, and that is perfect. So if anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Xochitl in Mexico City, Mexico. I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lenses for your Polo 2070 color 5003 in the 54 eye size. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.